أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون. لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون. إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون. وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون. وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون. إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشروا بمغفرة وأجر كريم. إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين. واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون. قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون. قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين. قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم. قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون. وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون. وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون. أتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغني عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون. إني لفي ضلال مبين. إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون. قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين. وما أنزلنا على قومي من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين. إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون. يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون. ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون. وإن كلا لما جميع لدينا محضرون. وآيات لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملت أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآيات لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالأرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآيات لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشاء نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنا أطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم أن تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوا اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكاناتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نعمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وظللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إننا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحيي الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وجل
محمد وآل محمد صلوات اللهم صل على Muhammad وآل Muhammad وجل فرجهم. Firstly, if I can please invite Brother Howard Kazmi to the podium, please welcome him with a loud salawat. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
No, salawat. کربلا ہو گئی تیار خدا خیر کرے کربلا ہو گئی تیار، خدا خیر کرے۔ کربلا ہو گئی تیار، خدا خیر کرے۔ یہ قیامت کے آثار، خدا خیر کرے۔ اس طرف ظلم پہ آمادہ زمانے والے، اس طرف سارے محمد کے گھرانے والے۔ کون کس کا ہے طرفدار، خدا خیر کرے۔ کربلا ہو گئی تیار، خدا خیر کرے۔ روز عاشور ہواؤں سے برستا ہے لہو، روز عاشور ہواؤں سے برستا ہے لہو۔ لٹ گئی کس کی یہ سرکار، خدا خیر کرے۔ کربلا ہو گئی تیار، خدا خیر کرے۔ یہ تو ممکن ہی نہیں ہے کہ جھکا دے سر کو، یہ تو ممکن ہی نہیں ہے کہ جھکا دے سر کو۔ کیا کرے صاحب کردار، خدا خیر کرے۔ کربلا ہو گئی تیار، خدا خیر کرے۔ یہ قیامت کے ہیں آثار، خدا خیر کرے۔ یہ جوانان بنی ہاشم ہیں، یہ جوان سارے جوانان بنی ہاشم ہیں۔ ان کو بیعت سے ہے انکار، خدا خیر کرے۔ ان کو بیعت سے ہے انکار، خدا خیر کرے۔ کربلا ہو گئی تیار، خدا خیر کرے۔ بی بی زینب کیا فرمایا؟ بائی جاتے ہیں خدا حافظ ناصر کہہ کر، بائی جاتے ہیں خدا حافظ ناصر کہہ کر۔ بہن کہتی ہیں ہر بار خدا خیر کرے. کربلا ہو گئی تیار خدا خیر کرے. یہ قیامت کے ہیں آثار خدا خیر کرے. وہ جو گھوڑے سے گرا ساتھ گرے مشک و علم. وہ جو گھوڑے سے گرا ساتھ گرے مشک و علم. نہ علم ہے نہ علمدار خدا خیر کرے. نہ علم ہے نہ علمدار خدا خیر کرے. کربلا ہو گئی تیار خدا خیر کرے. یہ قیامت کے ہیں آثار خدا خیر کرے. کتنے صدمے ہیں جو سجاد کو سہنے ہیں ابھی. کتنے صدمے ہیں جو سجاد کو سہنے ہیں ابھی. بیڑیاں ہوتی ہیں تیار خدا خیر کرے. کربلا ہو گئی تیار خدا خیر کرے. آج بھی سینوں میں زندہ ہے حسین ابن علی. آج بھی سینوں میں زندہ ہے حسین ابن علی. سارا عالم ہے عزادار عزادار خدا خیر کرے. کربلا ہو گئی تیار خدا خیر کرے. یہ قیامت کے ہیں آثار خدا خیر کرے. صلوات اللہ.
اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. الحمدللہ رب العالمین. بر محمد و آل محمد. بلندتر صلوات. جیسے کہ خاور بھائی نے آخری شعر مولا حسین کی شان میں پڑھا ہے، میں وہاں سے ہی. کمال عشق خدا ہے حسین کا سجدہ. کمال عشق خدا ہے حسین کا سجدہ. نبوت کی بقا ہے حسین کا سجدہ. حسین کا سجدہ شہادتوں کے مسئلے پہ تم کا نتا ہے یہی ستون عرش اولا ہے حسین کا سجدہ بتا رہا ہے کہ مفہوم عرضی کیا ہے نشان خاک شفا ہے حسین کا سجدہ جہان کل میں لرزاں وجود تیرا شبی اجالا بانٹ رہا ہے حسین کا سجدہ. بہت لمبا کلام ہے, میں چند اشعار پڑھتا ہوں اس پہ. نہ صرف یہ کہ ثنا پر حسین کا سر ہے, نہ صرف یہ کہ ثنا پر حسین کا سر ہے, فضا میں قبلہ نما ہے حسین کا سجدہ. معاف کیجیے گا. ستون ذات سے بنیاد لا الہ کے بعد ہر ایک جبیں پہ سجا ہے حسین کا سجدہ. ہر ایک جبیں پہ سجا ہے حسین کا سجدہ. دوا کو ہاتھ اٹھانے سے قبل یاد رہے یقین دست دعا ہے حسین کا سجدہ. یا علی علی. بدل پہ سر نہ رہا جا نماز مقتل میں لکھ گیا تھا لکھا ہے حسین کا سجدہ. کربلا کی زمین کے لیے شرف کی بات ہے میدان کربلا کے لیے, شرف کی بات ہے میدان کربلا کے لیے. اسی زمین پہ ہوا ہے حسین کا سجدہ. غرور رب اعلی ہے وقار اہل کسا شکست اہل جفا ہے حسین کا سجدہ. کوئی نماز سے ریحان آزمی پوچھے, کوئی نماز سے ریحان آزمی پوچھے, تیرے وجود میں کیا ہے حسین کا سجدہ, تیرے وجود میں کیا ہے حسین کا سجدہ. کمال عشق خدا ہے حسین 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 کا سجدہ. بار محمد و آل محمد صلی اللہ.
One loud salawat for all of tonight's reciters. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. Shaykh, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. Please join me reciting Surah Al-Fatiha once and Surah Ikhlas 3 times for all marhumeen, especially for the Shahadat of Gaza. Al-Fatiha. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Please also join me reciting Dua Shafa 5 times for all Maris, especially for Sayyid Munir Shah, Sayyid Muzaffar Shah, Sayyida Zirina Bibi and Sayyid Aslam Shah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Amma yujibul musarra iza da'a wa yakshif su. Amma yujibul musarra iza da'a wa yakshif su. أما يجيب المسر إذا دعا ويكشف السوء. أما يجيب المسر إذا دعا ويكشف السوء. أما يجيب المسر إذا دعا ويكشف السوء. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Just one announcement. Next programs are as follows. There will be Roze Arafah Amals tomorrow at the center at 1:07 p.m. Straight after Zohrain Jamaat prayers. So brothers, sisters, please do join us tomorrow if you can make it. Also there will be Eid al-Adha prayers at the center Monday morning 9:15 a.m. As mentioned during Jummah yesterday, there will be no Chater School car park, and the parking in the center will also be used until about 9:30 by the parents dropping their children off at the Chater School. So either walk, car share, or use the nearby pay and display car parks for Monday morning Eid prayers. Next, before I invite Shaykh Abbas, Ismail, if I can ask all the brothers to make an effort to come as far forward as possible with one loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. Without any further delay, if I can please invite Shaykh for tonight's English majlis. Please welcome him with a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil. Allahu Akbar.
صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين شفيع المذنبين رحمة للعالمين مولانا وسيدنا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين، لا سيما بقية الله في الأرض مولانا حجة ابن الحسن عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. Amma ba'du, my respected elders, brothers, sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. There is a request that there is a certain sister of the community who is not well at the moment. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give her shifa with the wasila of Janab Muslim, of Imam Hussein alayhi salam himself, of all the Shahadat of Karbala. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that this dear sister of ours gets shifa kamil and ajil. In this regard, let us first of all recite 5 times the famous dua of shifa from the Holy Quran, Amma Yujib. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma yujibul muttarra idha da'ahu wa yakshifu su. Amma yujibul muttarra idha da'ahu wa yakshifu su. Amma yujibul mustarra idha da'ahu wa yakshifu su. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Let me take this opportunity to offer my condolences to all the mu'mineen on this very sad, heartbreaking occasion where we commemorate the Shahadat of Janab Muslim. Janab Muslim was very, very special for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He was Aziz-e-Dil of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He was the Jigar of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He has been raised with Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He's the friend of Imam Hussein alayhi salam and the cousin of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Today we are commemorating such a personality. But we have 2 occasions, Azizane Muhtaram. We have 2 occasions actually that we need to mention. Number 1 is Janab Muslim, of course, which we will come to. The other one is the day of Arafah. Day of Arafah, Roze Arafah, Yawmul Arafah is such a day that I must spend a little bit of time talking about this before we go any further. The day of Arafat, which is tomorrow's day. First of all, you have to understand that we are in a very, very special 10 days. These first 10 days of Zil Hijjah are very special in themselves. These are the days of Guftugu ba Khuda, Munajat ba Khuda, conversations with Allah, secret conversations, special conversations with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? These were the days in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wa wa'adna Musa thalathina Layla. These were the days where Allah, He says to Nabi Musa, we have made an appointment with you. Come and meet us. For 30 days, Allah booked an appointment with Nabi Musa for 30 days. Nabi Musa was of course with the Bani Israel. They had now escaped from Fir'aun. They had crossed the sea. That miracle happened. They had crossed the sea. Someone comes to our 5th Imam, Imam Muhammad Baqir alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. And he asks Imam Muhammad Baqir, he says, tell me, this was a Christian person I believe, or a non-Muslim person. He says, tell me, which piece of the earth is it that the sun only shone once upon it and never again? Which piece of the earth, which sarzameen of this dunya, the sun only shone once upon it and never again? Imam replied, it was when Allah showed the miracle to Nabi Musa where the sea split and that zameen of under the water was made apparent for a few moments while they crossed over. The sun shone upon it once and then never again. The sea came back. So after Nabi Musa and the Bani Israel, they cross over the sea. Now they are away from Fir'aun, they're away from Egypt. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells Nabi Musa, you must come for a special conversation with me. Thalathina layla, for 30 nights. Nabi Musa, what does he do? He says to Nabi Harun, Ukhlufni fi qawmi. He says, now I'm going, but you have to represent me. Azizane Muhtaram, I ask you a question. Nabi Musa was going for how long? 30 nights. 30 nights. Nabi Musa was leaving his people for 30 nights. Just for 30 nights, a prophet of Allah keeps someone in charge of the people. Just for 30 nights. And we are told that when the Holy Prophet of Islam was leaving this world, he kept no one in charge. Nabi Musa is showing us that even if I go for 30 nights, I'm coming back after just 1 month. Even for 1 month, I have to keep someone in charge of my people while I am not here. Someone has to represent me. There must be a Khalifa. There must be someone. There must be a Wali of Allah in charge of the people. Another prophet has to be there in charge of the people. Even though I'm going for 1 month only, he appoints Nabi Harun. And we are told that when the Holy Prophet was leaving this world, he didn't leave anyone in charge. He was leaving this world and he didn't leave anyone. Imagine. He goes for the meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says, we kept you for 30 nights. We are now extending for 10 more nights. For 10 more nights we are extending. فَتَمَّ مِيقَاتُ رَبِّهِ أَرْبَعِينَ لَيْلًا. So the appointment actually became 40 nights. Which were those extra 10 nights which Allah had booked with Nabi Musa? These 10 nights of Zil-Hijjah. These 10 nights of Zil-Hijjah. Hence, the spirit of these 10 nights of Zil-Hijjah is one in which Allah wants to be supplicated with, conversed with, guftgu ba khuda, munajat ba khuda. All of your supplications and your du'as should be said in these 10 nights with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the nights of supplicating with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Until we come to the 9th, which is the day of Arafat. The best of all of the days is the day of Arafah. The best time in which to recite your du'as to Allah is when the Hujjaj themselves are on the plains of Arafat. That is one thing in itself, but also throughout the whole world there is the speciality of the day of Arafah. All the mu'mineen, no matter where you are, you don't have to be one of the Hujjaj, you don't have to be in Hajj, you don't have to be on Sarzamina Arafat on that day. You can be anywhere in the world, but make sure you don't waste a single moment of this day. Ulama say this day is so special. This day is so special. Do not waste even a single moment of this day. If the mu'mineen knew the value of this day, they would not even waste a single second of the day of Arafat. In the hereafter, when the people are in heaven, do you know the people of heaven will have no regret? Once you're in heaven, you have no regret at all except for one. One regret of the people of heaven. You know what that will be? Illa ala sa'atin marrat bihim lam yadhkurullaha fiha. They will regret just the moment that passed them by and they didn't remember Allah in that moment. That will be their regret. Because they will say we could have been even more high, in a more high station, with even a more amazing level that we would have achieved in heaven had we remembered Allah in every single moment. So the day of Arafah is the day where you have access to the full and special mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's number one. Number two, it is a day in which shaitan becomes very upset. Shaitan on the day of Arafat is very upset. Why? Because the day of Arafat is the day in which you now fix your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is the day in which again you become friends with Allah. You have disobeyed Him, God forbid. You haven't given Him much attention. You missed some of your wajibat. You did some wrong things. Day of Arafat is when you can say, Khudaya, I'm sorry. Khudaya, I'm sorry. I'm here to fix my relationship with you. I'm here to become your friend again. Khudaya, you have given me this opportunity. What a generous Lord. You know, if you think about it, why should Allah even bother with us? Zate la yatanaha. unlimited, unfathomable, eternal being that is Allah. What are we to Him? But look how kind He is that He gives us these kinds of days, that He says, no, my door is open. Come and talk to me. Fix your relationship with me. In Farsi, we have this poem, Man ke basham, who am I? Man ke basham, ke bar an khatir atir guzaram. Who am I that I should even be in the thought of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Lutfha mikuni. It is only your kindness that you do. Ay khake daret taje saram. When my head falls into sajda on your ground, on the zameen which you have made, my head falls down into sajda. The khake daret, the khak of your dar, the soil and the dust of your door is taje saram, is the crown of my head. Khudaya, you have given me this opportunity. You have invited me. You have opened your doors to me. Otherwise, I don't deserve this actually. They came to Allama Tabatabai. They said, Agha, define for us. Give us some kind of words. Define for us. What is the relationship between human and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Human is nothing. Right now, if me or you, we didn't exist, what would happen? Nothing would happen. No one would miss us. Nothing would happen. Aslan, no difference would happen in the world if me and you never existed. It doesn't matter even 1 second. Who are we? What are we? So they came to Allama. They said, Agha Jan, define for us what is the relationship between human and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look how beautifully he puts it. He says, Ma muhtaj tu wa tu mushtaq ma. We are in need of you. Hum tere muhtaj hai. We are in need of you. You are mushtaq of us. You are keen on us. Khudaya, you are keen on us. You, Zat-e la yatanaha, unlimited, unfathomable, eternal Lord that no one can even understand how amazing you are. But yet you're bothered about us. So this is the day of Arafat. Let's have a loud salawat, please. In the words of Sadiq Ali Muhammad Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. He says, someone who didn't get forgiven in Mahe Ramadan, someone who didn't get forgiven in Mahe Ramadan, with all of its azamat, with all of its amazing nature, where the Holy Prophet says, you will have barakati wal rahmati wal maghfirah, you will have barakat, you will have mercy, you will have forgiveness. Du'itum fihi ila dhiyafatillah. You are the guests of Allah, the banquet of Allah is open. Allah will forgive you. Your one verse is equal to one Quran. Your sleep is ibadat, your breathing is ibadat, your breathing is tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says that someone who didn't get forgiven in the holy month of Ramadan, somehow they dived into the ocean of Ramadan, but they didn't get wet. They stayed dry. It's virtually impossible. But I guess there is some people like this. Ramadan didn't forgive you, then you need to wait and observe the day of Arafah. If Ramadan did not forgive you, then you still have hope on the day of Arafah. In other words, the day of Arafah is one day. It can perhaps give you what 1 month could not give you. It can perhaps give you that forgiveness of God which the whole month of Ramadan did not give you. This is the power of the day of Arafah. And Imam does not say you have to be in Arafat. There's no mention of the ground, the place of Arafat. In fact, Imam just says the day of Arafah. Even in London, wherever you are, as long as you can connect with Allah on this day, inshallah you'll be forgiven and your hajat will be answered. Now, mu'minin, a number of things are emphasized on the day of Arafat. Number 1, there is ghusl. Number 2, there is roza, fasting. Number 3, there are du'as. And number 4, there is the ziyarat of Imam Hussein. All of this is correct, no doubt. However, mu'minin, if for any reason you can't do all of these things, then 2 things you must do. 2 things you must do tomorrow. Tomorrow, mashallah, is a Sunday as well. Inshallah, mu'mineen, most of us probably are not going to be working tomorrow. 2 things you must do. Number 1, du'as on the day of Arafat. Don't be ghafil from the du'as of the day of Arafat. Wherever you are, you can't come to the mosque. Inshallah, I hope you will come. If you can't make it, then don't worry. You can't recite these long, long du'as which we recite in the mosque. Don't worry. Arabic doesn't grab your attention. You can't recite in Arabic, for example. Don't worry. Wherever you are, whichever dua you choose, whichever language you choose, just make sure you speak with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tomorrow. Guftugu ba Khuda. Speaking with Allah. Tell him, Khudaya, I've done wrong. Khudaya, I need things from you. Khudaya, I don't feel happy. Khudaya, my heart hurts. Khudaya, I look around the world, all I see is a broken world. Khudaya, I see Gaza and my heart breaks. Khudaya, I see the zulm of the zalimeen. Khudaya, who is going to bring justice in this world? Send your last hujjat to this world. Khudaya, let us see Jamale Ruye Mahdi. Let us see the beauty of the face of Imam Zaman. Khudaya, protect our scholars. Khudaya, our scholars are standing alone in this world full of torment and oppression. Khudaya, who is going to protect our scholars? They are one person amongst an ocean of zalimeen and evil people. Khudaya, protect them. Khudaya, help the Muslimin wherever they may be. Help the Shias wherever they may be. Help the followers of Ali Muhammad wherever. Speak to Allah, speak to Allah, speak to Allah. This is number 1, du'as of the day of Arafat. Again, if you can't recite the long, long Arabic du'as, at least don't tell yourself, okay, mujhse nahi hua, to main kuch nahi karunga. No, it's not like that. Aapse agar nahi hota, if you can't do the long, long du'as, it doesn't mean that you don't do anything. Do whatever you can. You can't recite a 1-hour dua. Can you recite a 1-minute dua? Then do it. You don't want to recite these long, long Arabic things. Recite in your own language. It's okay. So this is number 1, duas of the day of Arafat. Number 2, please do not leave out of your day the ziyarat of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. You have all heard this. Let me repeat. On the day of Arafat, imagine, all the Hujjaj, all the Hajis are in Arafat. All of them are in Ihram. All of them have taken this kind of niyat that we are going to stay away from all of these things in Ihram. All of them are there with their hearts and with their minds and with their prayers and with their du'as and with their talbiyah and with their labbaik Allahumma labbaik. They are all there in Arafat. But Allah first puts His kindness and mercy not on Arafat but on the Zawar of Imam Hussein. This is in Hadith, that on the day of Arafat, even though you have thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions now in Arafat, Allah actually looks first to the Zawar of Imam Hussein. The first glance of mercy of God on that day is towards the Zawar of Imam Hussein. And not even just Karbala. Anywhere you are in the world, if you are a Zair of Imam Hussein, if you are counted amongst the Zaireen of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Allah will look at you with grace and with mercy. Why? Why? Khudaya, why? But Hajj is so important and Arafat, yes, it is important, of course. We're not saying it's not important. But Hajj exists today. Makkah exists today. Kaaba exists today because of that body of Imam Hussein lying on the plains of Karbala. That Pamal Shuda, Jisme Nazaneen of Aba Abdullah is what has kept Kaaba today, Zamzam today, Makkah today, Mina today, Arafat today, because of the blood of Aba Abdullah. This is the power of the ziyarat of Aba Abdullah. Hence Allah looks at those Zawar first and then the Hujjaj in Arafat. So tomorrow, Azizan, remember, you want to pray your du'as and you want to do your ziyarat of Aba Abdullah. What about the roza of the day of Arafat. Let's have a loud salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. The roza of the day of Arafat is very, very special. Very, very important, very, very special. It is said that someone who fasts the day of Arafat, his one roza will be kafara of guna of 90 years. Roze Arafat ka ek roza is kafara of your sins, guna, for 90 years. This is how important it is. However, then we have a caveat. We are told, however, if for any reason you fast and then you don't have energy or you don't have the ability to then pray the du'as, then it's better you don't fast but pray the du'as, which shows you that the du'as are more effective than even fasting tomorrow. That doesn't mean fasting is not important. I hope you got my point. We are not downgrading the importance of fasting. We are upgrading the importance of du'as. If you can do both, then alhamdulillah, very good. Fasting and du'as together will be brilliant. Nurun ala nur. If you can't do both, then at least do the du'as of that day. Now, how to do du'as? This is my final point, and then we move on. How to do du'as on the day of Arafat. Khudaya, Khudaya. There's a hadith. A man called Ibrahim. He says, I went to Arafat. And when I went there, I saw one of the students of our seventh Imam, Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala. This person's name was Abdullah ibn Jundab. He was the student of seventh Imam. Abdullah ibn Jundab. Riwayat is from, the Rawi is someone called Ibrahim. Ibrahim goes to Arafat. He sees Abdullah ibn Jundab. He says, this is the student of seventh Imam. Let me see what he's doing. He looks at him. He says, when I saw Abdullah ibn Jundab, the student of Imam Musa al-Kadhim, I was watching him. He was praying du'as upon du'as. He was in such a spiritual state. He was in such a spiritual hal. I could see he was crying and crying and weeping and weeping. I said to myself, it's better I don't disturb him. Let me leave him alone. Then I was watching him. He finished his du'as. He finished all of his supplications. Then I said, now I can approach him. I went to him and I said, salam. And I said, mashallah, what a brilliant spiritual state you had. I didn't want to disturb you. You were in such a state of communication with Allah. You were crying your eyes out. I didn't want to disturb you. He says, wallah, I swear to you, in all of those du'as, I did not recite one du'a even for myself. All of my du'as were for other people. I asked him, why? Why didn't you pray for yourself? Why did you pray for other people? He says, because I heard my Mawla, Imam Musa al-Kadhim, tell me the following. He said to me that when you pray for someone else, Allah will give you 100,000 times what you prayed for someone else for yourself. When you do taqdeem, when you prioritize someone else, when you pray for another mu'minah, when you pray for example, our ulama, when you pray for one another, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you 100,000 of what you prayed for someone else. So he said to this Ibrahim, he says, so then I put it in front of myself and I said to myself, should I give myself one or should I give myself 100,000? And I said to myself, why should I lose this opportunity where I can pray on the day of Arafat for my mu'min brothers and sisters? Allah will give me 100,000 in return. Now, mu'minin, I ask you a question. Tomorrow, if you pray for someone else, Allah will give you 100,000. I agree. What if you pray for Imam Zaman tomorrow? What if you put yourself aside and you prioritize and you say, today I'm praying for Imam Zaman. Khudaya, make my Imam happy with me. Khudaya, make the heart of Imam in a relaxed, tranquil state. Khudaya, if Imam is feeling any pain, remove that pain from the heart of Imam. Khudaya, keep him in good health. Khudaya, keep him away from the shar and evil of the zalimeen in this world. Khudaya, put his daste shafakat upon us, put his mehraban heart, put his blessed hand upon us. Khudaya, let him look at us with his grace and his blessings and his mercy. Tomorrow prioritize your Imam Zaman. Over everything else, pray for Imam Zaman. You see the barakat in your life will come. You see what happens when you prioritize Imam Hujjat upon yourselves. You see what happens when you make a link between you and Imam Zaman. This is a secret. This is a secret. Unfortunately, most people don't know. Most people don't do this. Mu'mineen, the power of Imam Zaman, the power of this heavenly, godly individual, when it comes into your life, you won't believe. Your life will change. You know, there's a place in Bahrain. Those of you who have gone, I don't know if any of you have gone, I haven't gone, but people have told me. There's a place in Bahrain. This place is called Romana. Romana, what does it mean? Do you know? Pomegranate, anar. Romana. And in this ilaka, in this neighborhood of Romana, there's a certain masjid. Very nurani, very amazing masjid. This masjid has a gunbad, has a dome, has a minaret, and inside there's a zari. Someone is buried there. This person's name is Muhammad ibn Isa. Muhammad ibn Isa. Let me tell you his story. Muhammad ibn Isa was one of the scholars of Bahrain. What happened was, the British, when they had control on Bahrain, when it was one of the colonial places, the majority of the people were Shia, are Shia even till today. The majority of the people of Bahrain are Shia. So what do the British do? They put a Sunni to rule over the Shias, right? As you can expect. They put a Sunni to rule over the Shias. Now this Sunni ruler had a minister. His minister was extremely, very, very biased, and he was an anti-Shia kind of person. He hated the Shias. Very stubborn, muta'assib, ba-ta'assub person who didn't like the Shias at all. So he, one day, he comes to the ruler. He said, look, I've had enough of these Shias. We need to take them to task. We need to teach them a lesson. I'm going to show you a miracle of Allah. This minister is saying to the ruler, I will show you a miracle of Allah which proves that the Sunni sect is true and the Shia sect is false. So the ruler says, tell me, what is this miracle? He says, look, and he brings a pomegranate, anar. He brings this pomegranate. He says, look, open this pomegranate. He opens the pomegranate, and inside it is written what? Abu Bakr, Umar, Usman, and Imam Ali alayhi salam, Khulafa'ullah. These four are the Khalifas of Allah. He said, look, it's proven. This is a miracle. This is a mu'jiza. This is Allah showing us that, look, our sect is true and the Shia sect is false. So the ruler gets excited. He says, you know what? Yes, call the Shias, call them here, summon them. I want to see them. So they call the heads of the community of the Shias and the scholars of the Shias. One of them is this Muhammad ibn Isa. One of the people who come here is Muhammad ibn Isa. Ruler says, now look, you are Shias, we are Sunnis. We have had a lot of things between us. Now we can prove to you finally, you are wrong, we are right. Look at this miracle from Allah. He opens the anar, he opens the pomegranate, and in there it's written, Abu Bakr, Umar, Usman, Imam Ali alayhi salam, Khulafa'ullah, are the Khalifas of God. Now the Shia say, now what do we do? What is this? Where has this come from? It's very clear, it's written properly, even in the order, even in that order of 1, 2, 3, 4. Even the order is correct. Now what do we do? So the Shia say, look, we need some time. Give us some time. We need 3 days. So the king, the ruler says, now look, I'll give you 3 days, but after 3 days, I'm going to give you a choice. This is what choice you have. Number one, either you become Sunnis. Become Sunnis, and then we don't have any issues with you. This is your first choice. Number two, if you don't want to become Sunnis, then you have to declare yourself as non-Muslims. Then you'll be classed as kuffar. Number three, you opt not for number one, number two, number three, the choice is that we behead you, we kill you. These are the choices. Adopt our sect, become kuffar, and then you come under a different heading, or you face the death penalty. They said, give us 3 days, we'll come back after 3 days. Now these ulama are getting together. They say, now what do we do? They say, we don't have any option except we do tawassul to Hujjat ibn al-Hasan, Imam Zaman. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Our only way out of this is to do tawassul to Imam Zaman. So now they discuss. They say, look, let's choose 3 people. The most pious, the most spiritual, the most decent, the most ba-taqwa, muttaqi, nurani, ruhani individuals. Let's choose 3 people. Each night, each person is to go out into the wilderness, into the bayaban, into the wilderness, under the open sky. And there they should do du'as and tawassul and istighasa and all of these things. Pray to Allah, beseech Imam Zaman, connect with Imam Zaman, and inshallah he'll come and rescue us. First night, first guy goes. He does all his wudu, all his preparation. He goes, he puts his musalla under the asman, in the bayaban, in the wilderness. He beseeches Imam, beseeches Imam, beseeches Imam. Nothing happens. He comes back and says, look, I tried, nothing happened. Now they get worried. Okay, second night, second guy goes. Same thing. Does all his tawassul, does all his istighasa, does all his du'as and prayers and namazes and this and that. Nothing happens. Comes back. Now they get even more worried. Third night, this Muhammad ibn Isa goes. He says, right, this is the last night, I will go. Muhammad ibn Isa, he goes. He does all his namazes and du'as and tawassuls and istighas and everything he does. All of a sudden, in the middle of the night, he sees one Nurani man approaches him. This man approaches him, and the man says to him, what are you doing here in the middle of the wilderness? He says to him, I am calling my Imam. If you are my Imam, you know my problem before I even tell you. He says, I am your Imam and I know your problem and I have your solution. He says, this is what you need to do. And he gives him the whole instruction. He says, this is what you need to do. Tomorrow, you go to the ruler. First thing in the morning tomorrow, you go to the ruler and you tell him, listen, we have got the answer to this problem. We need to all go to the house of that minister. But don't tell him we are coming. It has to be a surprise. Don't tell him we are coming. Go, tell the ruler that you want to go to the house of the minister. When you go to the house of the minister, quickly go to the top of the house on the roof. There you will find your answer. The next morning, the Shias, they go to the ruler. They tell the ruler, we need to go to the house of the minister. They go to the house of the minister. The minister opens the door. He's shocked that, oh, you guys have come. I'm not even ready. They said, no problem. Let us in. We need to go to the top. He takes them to the top of the house, onto the terrace. There, what do they see? They see that the minister had very cunningly and very skillfully, he had made these kinds of molds which fit around the pomegranate. And into the pomegranate, they used to infuse this kind of black powder. And he could manipulate the way that black powder was to spell certain words. Abu Bakr, Umar, Usman, Imam alayhi salam, Khulafa'ullah. He used to manipulate that powder to form these words inside the pomegranates. So there they found that the whole thing was just a hoax. It was a fake. It was a trick by the minister. And then what happened was, actually the minister himself was sentenced to death. They killed the minister for causing fasad and fitna in the society. Azizan, that was the story. But now let me come on to my point. The point is this. On the third night, when Muhammad ibn Isa was approached by Imam Zaman, when he was approached by Imam Zaman, when Imam Zaman told him what to do, Muhammad ibn Isa asked a question. He says, Mawla, thank you so much, but I want to ask you, why has it taken you 3 nights to come and give us the answer? Mawla, why did it take you 3 nights to come and give us the answer? What did Imam Zaman reply? He said, Muhammad ibn Isa, why did you ask for 3 nights? Why did you ask for 3 nights? If you would have had the same kind of emergency and distress which you had on this night, On the first night, I would have come on the first night. If you would have had it on the second night, I would have come on the second night. You asked for 3 nights. Because I didn't come on night 1 and night 2, now you felt that sense of urgency. Now you had that sincerity of connecting with me. That's why I came on the 3rd night. I don't need 3 nights. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. You asked for 3 nights. You would have had that same yaqeen, that same dard-e-dil, that same pain in the heart, that same sense of distress and emergency. You would have had that same kind of feeling in day 1. I would have come on day 1. You asked for 3 nights. Do you see, Azizan? When you link with Imam Zaman, when you link with this great personality, your life will change. He will answer you. He will help you. Other Imams used to help their Shias, yes or no? Amirul Mu'mineen, how did he help his Shias? Amirul Mu'mineen, how did he help the orphans? Imam Hassan alayhi salam, how? What a sakhi individual Imam Hassan was. No one used to come to the darwaza of Imam Hassan alayhi salam and go empty-handed. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, all of the Imams would help their Shias. I ask you, Imam Zaman won't help you? Are you not the Shias of Imam Zaman? He won't help you. Of course he will. We just need to link with him. We just need to talk to him. Let me tell you one hadith. At the moment, this is my most favorite hadith. Someone comes to the 10th Imam, Imam Ali al-Naqi alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. He says, Mawla, sometimes I have a hajat. Please listen to this, Azizan. He says, Mawla, sometimes I have a hajat, I have a wish, I have a need, I have a desire. But I can't always come to you. I wish I could. I wish I could always come and tell you my hajat and then you pray to Allah. But I can't always come to you. What do I do? Mawla Imam Ali al-Naqi, what does he say? He says, you do one thing. Harrik shafataik. Ya'tika al-jawab. Imam says to him, just move your lips. We will answer your du'as. Wherever you are in this world, just move your lips. We will answer your du'as. Harrik shafataik. Wherever you are, Imam Zaman, he's looking after us. He's the owner of this world. You think he's not bothered by what's happening in Philistine? You think he's not bothered about what's happening in the world? He's more bothered than anyone. And he will have his plan and he will have his system. And we may not see it or we may not realize it. But his hukumat on this world is active. Don't think that it's not active. When he comes properly out of ghaibat, when he does his zuhur, then really it will be something in front of us. At the moment, everything is behind the scenes. So Azizan, tomorrow, a very momentous day in which I ask you to not neglect these 2 things especially. One is du'as, second is ziyarat of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Iltimase, dua, remember me and everyone in your prayers, inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Imam Hussein alayhi salam leaves Medina. Many people tell him, Aba Abdullah, it's not the right time to go, don't go. Many people tell him, Aba Abdullah, the people of Kufa are not to be trusted. He says, I know what I'm doing. He makes the journey. Before making the journey, he comes for the blessings of 2 personalities. Number 1 is the grandfather, Rasulullah. He comes to the qabr of Agha Rasulullah. He bids farewell there. He says to him, he says to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Dhal Jalali wal Ikram, O Dhal Jalal and Ikram, allow me to do that which pleases you and pleases your Prophet. And then they say he comes to the grave of Janab Fatima. But there he doesn't come in the same way as he went to Rasulullah. There they say Hussein comes like a child is running to the arms of his mother. And the way he goes to the grave of Janabi Fatima. And he asks her as well for her blessings and her support. He then makes his way towards Makkah. Makkah, he stays for a while in Makkah. The time of Hajj is approaching. With the Hajis and the Hujjaj coming towards Makkah, many people are bringing messages for Imam Hussein. All of a sudden, he receives first hundreds and then thousands of letters from the people of Kufa. People of Kufa are telling him, "Oh Imam Hussein, we need you. We are ready for you. Come to us. We have people ready for you. We are all sick and tired of the Umayyad government. We are sick and tired of Muawiyah and his son Yazid. We are sick and tired of this. We are ready for you. Come and lead us. Come to Kufa. We will accept you." Imam says that, hold on. Before I go, I have to send someone I trust. Let someone go and check the situation for me. Let someone go and look at the situation and then he can report back to me. Who does he send? He sends his most beloved. He sends his most close. He sends his brother. He doesn't call him his cousin. In the message he sends to the people of Kufa, he says, "I am sending you Aqeel, my brother. Wa thiqati, and the one I trust from the bottom of my heart. He is trustworthy. I trust him. He is my brother. He is my beloved. I've grown up with him. He is my cousin. He is my friend. He is none other than my beloved Muslim." Janabi Muslim is 57 years old during this time. Janabi Muslim goes to Kufa, sent by Abu Abdullah himself. Janabi Muslim, all of a sudden, as he enters Kufa, he sees many people are in his favor. Many people come to him. They treat him with respect. They treat him as Safir of Imam Hussein, the messenger of Imam Hussein, the ambassador of Imam Hussein. They come, they give him bay'at, they give him allegiance, they tell him, "We are with you, we are with you. Let Abu Abdullah come, let Imam Hussein alayhi salam come, let this happen." All the while that this is going on, the news is reaching Yazid. The people of Kufa are getting ready for Hussein. What are you going to do about it? The people of Kufa, there are thousands and thousands who are giving bay'at to Hazrat Muslim. Now what are you going to do about it? He sends the most cruel, the most tyrannical, the most oppressive person that you can imagine, Ibn Ziyad. He sends him and he says, "You are now the governor of Kufa. Go there, find out what's going on, find out what Imam Hussein's planning, find out what Muslim is doing, and report back to me." Ibn Ziyad goes. He enters. The first thing he does, he dresses himself in the dress of Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein had a particular look. The Bani Hashim had a particular way of dressing, their colors, the way they dressed. He dresses in that way. He covers his face. As he enters Kufa, people really think Imam Hussein has arrived. So straight away he knows what is going on. He knows how many people are in Hussein's favor. He knows how many people are loyal to Imam Hussein. He then begins a process of terror. Some people, he straight away just kills them. He just murders them. Some people, he imprisons them. Some people, he bribes them. One by one, slowly, he's getting rid of all of the supporters of Imam Hussein. Still Muslim is in Kufa. Muslim then goes into hiding. He now doesn't come out in the open because now it's a very sensitive situation. Now he has to make sure that the people remain ready and loyal by the time Imam Hussein comes. Slowly but surely, the supporters of Hazrat Muslim are reduced until it comes to that one night, the night before the Shahadat of Hazrat Muslim. Hazrat Muslim goes to the mosque to lead the prayers. When he looks back at one point, he sees 30 people. Before there were thousands and thousands. He sees 30 people. After Isha, he sees only a handful of people. They say at the end of the namaz, he sees one person. By the time he walks out of the door of the mosque, there is no one with Hazrat Muslim. The thousands of people who were loyal to him have now deserted him and they've left him. Now Hazrat Muslim wanders the streets of Kufa. He goes from gully to gully, from place to place. He has nowhere to go. The places where he was hiding before, those people have now been arrested. The people that were loyal to him are nowhere to be found. Eventually he sits down on the doorstep of one of the houses of Kufa. The lady of the house, she comes out. She says to him, "What are you doing here? Who are you? These are very difficult times. I advise you, go to your home." He says, "I have no home here. I'm gharib here. I'm a stranger here. I have no home here." She says to him, "Who are you?" He says, "Ana Muslim." She says, "Which Muslim?" He says, "Ana Muslim ibn Aqeel. I am Muslim, son of Aqeel." She says, "Which Aqeel?" He says, "Aqeel ibn Abi Talib." That woman begins to cry. She says, "You mean you are the nephew of my Mawla Amir al-Mu'mineen?" She says, "Come inside my house. Come inside, my people are looking for you." He goes and he stays in her house. She says, "Wallah, that night that Muslim was in my house, all I heard was the sound of zikr of Allah. All I heard all night is that he was in sujood and he was praying to Allah subhanahu." This was Muslim ibn Aqeel. The son of that woman was a very treacherous person. He betrays Hazrat Muslim. He goes and he reports to Ibn Ziyad, because there was a reward that anyone who knows when Hazrat Muslim is will get a reward. He betrays. He reports that Muslim is in this house, is in my house, my mother's house. They say Ibn Ziyad sent a force. This force was enough to arrest maybe 10 people. This one force could not arrest Janab Muslim. Janab Muslim was a fighter, was a warrior, was brave, was courageous. He is the nephew of Amir al-Mu'mineen. He is no ordinary person. He was fighting them. He was fighting them off. They say 3 reinforcements were sent. 3 lots of troops were sent to capture Hazrat Muslim. Even then, how did they capture him? Cowardly. They would throw stones at him. They would throw spears at him. They would hit him with long spears from a distance. Finally, they disarmed him and they arrested him. And they now begin to drag him towards the Darul Imara, to the governor's house. When he enters into Darul Imara, they say, "You were rude to the governor. You did not say salam to the emir." He says, "Shame on you. I only have one emir. My emir is Hussein and no one else." They bring him in front of Ibn Ziyad. Ibn Ziyad said, "Muslim, now this is your end. We are going to kill you. Do you have any final wishes?" Janab Muslim says, "I have 3 final wishes." He says, "What are these 3 final wishes?" He says, "Number 1, I owe someone money. My first wish is you sell my saddle and my sword, and with the money you get, you pay my debt. Number 2, my second wish is, do not drag me through the streets of Kufa. I ask you, give me the burial of a Muslim. Give me the burial of Islam. Bury me properly. Don't mutilate my body. And number 3, my third wish is, allow me to send a message to Abu Abdullah. Allow me to send a message to Hussein. Let me tell him that, oh Hussein, this city is not safe for you anymore. Don't come here." They say, "Muslim, we will allow you the first one. We will not allow you the second and third ones. Your body will be dragged. Your body will be dragged through the streets of Kufa, and no message will go to Abu Abdullah." They beheaded Hazrat Muslim. They pushed his body from the top of the building. The body landed in the streets. The body was then tied to the horses and dragged through the streets of Kufa. At this time, a number of riders left Kufa. And who were they to meet in the route? They met Imam Hussein himself. Remember, Imam Hussein has now left Makkah, coming towards Kufa. They met Abu Abdullah. Abu Abdullah says to them, "Tell me, what is the news of my brother Muslim?" They said, "Abu Abdullah, it's better you don't ask us." He says, "Tell me, what is the news of my beloved brother Muslim?" They said, "Abu Abdullah, by the time we had left, his head had been cut, his body had been pushed." Abu Abdullah looks down. Then he looks at Janab Zainab. Janab Zainab looks at her brother.
The brother says to the sister, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Bring me the daughter of my brother Muslim. They bring the young daughter of Hazrat Muslim. Abu Abdullah takes her in his arms. He puts her on his knee. He begins to stroke her head. He begins to give her so much love and affection. She looks at Abu Abdullah. She says, tell me, oh uncle, is my father okay? Has something happened to my father? Abu Abdullah says, why do you ask this? She says, this is the treatment that is given to the yateems. When anyone is a yateem, this is how you treat them. Abu Abdullah, you are treating the daughter of Hazrat Muslim with so much love. Who was there for your Sakina on Sham-e Ghariba when she was orphaned, when she had lost her father, when she needed support? Only Shimmer was there. Shimmer came to her. Shimmer grabbed her hair. Shimmer pulled her hair. Someone else came along and saw the earrings on her ears and pulled them from her ears. Allah la'natullahi al-qawmi al-zalimin wa sayalamu alladhina zalamu ayya munqalibin yanqalibun. Matame Hussein. آگے آج
مسلم دیاں دھیاں فجر ویلے آیاں کول حسین سخی دے. مسلم دیاں دھیاں فجر ویلے آیاں کول سخی حسین دے. مسلم دیاں دھیاں فجر ویلے آیاں کول حسین سخی دے. مسلم دیاں دھیاں فجر ویلے آیاں کول دے. مسلم دیاں دھیاں فجر ویلے آیاں کول حسین سخی دے. تینکو واسطہ اکبر اصغر دا, تینکو واسطہ اکبر اصغر دا, سکوں ویر ملا جی دے. مسلم دیاں دھیاں فجر ویلے آیاں کول حسین سخی دے. مسلم دیاں فجر ویلے حسین سخی دے. رب خیر کرے تیرے اکبر دی, ہوئے عمر دراز علی اصغر دی. رب خیر کرے تیرے اکبر دی, ہوئے عمر دراز علی اصغر دی. سغرا دے ویراں دا صدقہ, سغرا دے ویراں دا صدقہ, سکوں ویر ملا اجی دے. مسلم دیاں دھیاں فجر ویلے آیاں کول حسین سخی دے. مسلم دیاں حسین سخی دے. جدوں عید دا ویلا آندا اے کل ماواں پتر سجاندیاں نے. جدوں عید دا ویلا آندا اے کل ماواں پتر سجاندیاں اے. پئی ویکھ دیے را ساڈی ماں, پئی ویکھ دیے را ساڈی ماں, میں کو ویر ملا اج عید. مسلم دیاں دھیاں فجر ویلے آیاں کول حسین سخی دے. مسلم دیاں دھیاں فجر ویلے حسین سخی دے. خالق نے بھین براواں دے بہوں وکھرے جوڑ بنائے نے خالق نے بھین براواں دے بہوں وکھرے جوڑ بنائے نے بھینی دے ہون دے مان برا بھینی دے ہون دے مان برا سکو ویر ملا اج عید مسلم دیاں دھیاں فجر ویلے آئیاں کول حسین سید مسلم دیاں آئیاں حسین سید جب روئی بیٹیاں مسلم کی شبیر کو صغرا یاد آئی جب روئی بیٹیاں مسلم کی شبیر کو صغرا یاد آئی آتی تھی مدینے سے یہ صدا آتی تھی مدینے سے یہ صدا سکویر ملا اجید مسلم دیاں دیاں فجر ویلے آئیاں دے مسلم دیاں تمام عالم میں آج ماتم حسین بے کس کا ہو رہا ہے تمام عالم میں آج ماتم حسین بے کس کا ہو رہا ہے تمام عالم سب پڑھیں حسین بے کس کا ہو رہا ہے تمام عالم میں آج ماتم حسین بے کس کا ہو رہا ہے علم گھروں میں سجے ہوئے ہیں علم گھروں میں سجے ہوئے ہیں دلوں میں فرش عزا بچھا ہے تمام عالم میں آج ماتم حسین بے کس کا ہو رہا ہے تمام عالم حسین بے کس کا ہو رہا ہے حسین پیری میں دل سنبھالے یا دل سے الجھی سینہ نکالے حسین پیری میں دل سنبھالے یا دل سے الجھی سینہ نکالے جوان بیٹا ہے خون میں ڈوبا جوان بیٹا ہے خون میں ڈوبا زمین پہ ایڑی رگڑ رہا ہے حسین عالم میں آج ماتم تمام عالم میں آج ماتم حسین بے کس کا ہو رہا ہے تمام عالم سب پڑھیں اس کا ہو رہا ہے تمام عالم اس کا ہو رہا ہے نہ مارو برچھی دل نبی پر ابھی ہوئے ہیں جوان اکبر نہ مارو برچھی دل نبی پر ابھی ہوئے ہیں جوان اکبر یہ قتل جس کو تو کر رہا ہے یہ قتل جس کو تو کر رہا ہے یہی تو ہم شکل مصطفیٰ ہے تمام عالم میں آج ماتم تمام عالم میں آج ماتم حسین بے کس کا ہو رہا ہے تمام عالم کس کا ہو رہا ہے مدینے والوں خاموش رہنا غریب زین کو کچھ نہ کہنا مدینے والوں خاموش رہنا غریب زین کو کچھ نہ کہنا بسا ہوا گھر جو لے گئی تھی بسا ہوا گھر جو لے گئی تھی وہ کربلا میں اجڑ گیا ہے تمام عالم میں آج ماتم حسین بے کس کا ہو رہا ہے تمام عالم बेकस का हो रहा है अज़ाए शबीर है इबादत जनाब ज़ैन की है इबादत अज़ाए शबीर है इबादत जनाब ज़ैन की है इबादत ये नोहा तेरे कलम से मैशर ये नोहा तेरे कलम से मैशर जनाब ज़हरा की एक आता है तमाम आलम में आज मातम तमाम आलम में आज मातम हुसैन बेकस का हो रहा है दुआ के लिए या वजीहान इंदल्लाह इश्वा लना इंदल्लाह सब बुलंद आवाज़ पढ़े या वजीहान इंदल्लाह इश्वा लना इंदल्लाह या वजीहान इंदल्लाह इश्वा लना बारे आला बन के सवाली तेरे हुजूर दामन में अपने लाए हैं बेइंतहा कसूर लेकिन हमारे सीने पे मातम का देख नूर अपने नबी के सदके में बख्शेगा तू जरूर या वजीहान इंदल्लाह इश्वा लना इंदल्लाह या वजीहान इंदल्लाह इश्वा लना इंदल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد السلام عليك يا نبي الله السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك يا سيدة النساء العالمين السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا مولانا يا غريب الغرباء السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء السلام عليك يا مغيث الشيعة والزوار في يوم الجزاء السلام عليك يا أنيس النفوس السلام عليك أيها المدفون بأرض توس السلام عليك يا علي بن موسى الرضا والتحية والثناء السلام عليك وعلى آبائك السبعة وأبنائك الأربعة ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا مولانا يا سيدي يا صاحب العصر والزمان الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن السلام عليك يا قامي الكفر والطغيان السلام عليك يا دافع الظلم والعدوان عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مهرجا وزهورك السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم قل لوليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزق طوعا وتمطيه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.